Your phone rings, you see the name, you know who it is, and instead of answering, your chest tightens, your mind starts racing. What do they want? What if I say the wrong thing? What if there's an awkward silence? What if I can't get off the call? And before you even realize what you're doing, you've let it go to voicemail. Again. Then comes the guilt, the spiral of wondering if you're being rude, if you're a bad friend, if something is seriously wrong with you. Everyone else seems to answer their phone without a second thought, but for you, a phone call feels like an ambush, like someone demanding your immediate attention without warning, without context, without giving you time to prepare. And the worst part is, you can't even explain why it feels this way. You just know that texting feels safe and phone calls feel like a threat. But here's what you need to understand. You're not broken, you're not antisocial, and you're definitely not alone. There's real psychology behind why some people avoid phone calls, and once you understand it, you'll stop feeling guilty for protecting your energy. So let's talk about what's actually happening when a phone call triggers your nervous system. Because this isn't about being rude, it's not about laziness, it's about how your brain processes unexpected demands, and that matters more than you think.
First, let's get clear on what a phone call actually requires. It's not just a conversation, it's real-time performance. You have to think on your feet, you have to respond immediately, you have to manage tone, pacing, silence, and social cues all at once. There's no backspace button, no time to edit, no chance to carefully consider your words. You're live. And if you're someone who processes information internally, someone who needs time to think before speaking, phone calls feel like being thrown on stage without a script. Your brain doesn't work best under that kind of pressure. It works best when it has space to process, and phone calls don't give you that space. Here's what makes it worse. Phone calls are unpredictable. You don't know what the person wants. You don't know how long it's going to take. You don't know if it's going to be a quick question or an hour-long conversation. And if you're someone who needs structure, who needs to mentally prepare for social interaction, that unpredictability is overwhelming. It's not that you don't want to talk to people, it's that you want to talk to them on your terms, when you're ready, when you have the mental bandwidth, when you've had time to shift gears. A phone call rips you out of whatever you're doing and demands your full attention right now. And for a lot of people, that feels like a violation of their autonomy. Now let's talk about something deeper. People who avoid phone calls are often highly aware of social dynamics. You're not oblivious, you're hyper-aware. You notice every pause, every shift in tone, every moment of silence that feels too long. And when you're on a phone call, you can't see the other person's face. You can't read their body language. You're working with limited information, trying to gauge how they're feeling, what they're thinking, whether you're saying the right thing, and that takes enormous cognitive effort. It's exhausting. Texting gives you visual cues. You can see the words, you can reread them, you can take your time responding. But a phone call is all auditory, all immediate, all pressure. And if your brain is wired to analyze and process deeply, phone calls feel like trying to solve a puzzle while someone is rushing you. Here's another layer. For some people, avoiding phone calls isn't just about preference, it's about control. If you grew up in an environment where your boundaries weren't respected, where people demanded your time and attention without regard for your needs, phone calls might feel like that same invasion.
They feel like someone reaching into your space without permission. And your nervous system, which learned early on that saying no wasn't safe, now avoids the situation entirely. It's not that you're scared of the person calling, it's that you're protecting yourself from the feeling of being trapped, because once you answer, you're committed. You can't just walk away. You have to see it through. And if you've spent your life feeling obligated to make other people comfortable at the expense of your own comfort,
that commitment feels like a cage. But here's what people don't talk about. Avoiding phone calls is also a boundary. It's your way of saying, I need time to think. I need space to breathe. I need to engage with people on my own terms. And in a world that constantly demands immediate responses, immediate availability, immediate access to you, that boundary is actually healthy. The problem is, we've been conditioned to believe that availability equals care, that if you're not picking up the phone, you don't care about the person calling. But that's not true. You can care deeply about someone and still need to protect your energy. You can love people and still need time to prepare before engaging with them. Those things aren't contradictions. They're just different ways of showing up.